No matter where you come from, no matter where you're going, here's a place where you can take comfort in the knowing that whether if you've come to stay a while or just passing through, this door is open to you. Come and let's be silent. Come and share a hug. Come, let's pray together. Come, love and be loved. From the blissed out to the turned out, from the pampered to the abused, this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. The God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you. If there's some kind of trouble or pain you're going through, know that you are not alone and someone cares for you. As an individualization of divine point of view, this door is open to you. This door is open. This door right here, this door is open to you. Is open for you. This door is open to you. This door is open. I'm talking about this door. This door is open.
Good morning. It's true. This door is open for you, whether it's the physical door or the virtual door. We want to welcome each and every one of you here this morning to Unity of the Blue Ridge. For those of you that are here local, let's take an opportunity to turn around, wave at those who could not be here in person today. So we take this moment to acknowledge that we are one growing spiritual community that is spread out across continent. So we give thanks for that. We always like to begin our time in prayer, and I invite you to join me this morning as we open in prayer. As we turn our awareness within, we realize that the kingdom of heaven is within, as Jesus taught, that it is within and through our own awareness, our own wakefulness, that we attune to what is present. Love is here, peace is here. The capacity to be a presence for love, a presence of peace, a presence that is the embodiment of God. We give thanks for this capability, for this desire, and for this promise. And so today, as we explore what is the nature of prayer, we open our hearts individually and collectively, that we may truly be in alignment with our soul. We may truly be in alignment with our highest possibility. And for this time together, we know that we will be blessed. And through that blessing, we are a blessing. Thank you, God, and so it is. Amen. Again, we want to thank you for joining us this morning. You know, every Sunday we are so blessed with this Unity Band and with Kat Williams. Kat, would you come on up? She's going to kick us off in a song. So for Kat, Richard, Dave, Joel, and Pete, we want to thank them for being here. While they're preparing, this is a great time if you've not yet sent your cell phone into the silence. If you could turn that on airplane mode or off, it really helps us keep the airwaves clear. So we appreciate that. So Kat Williams and our Unity Band, show them some love this morning. Thank you.
You're so used to having it on, you just sing right through it. One. Put your hands together. You're fed up, life don't give up on us. All they talk about is what's going on to the sound. And don't lose it, it's sweet music, and dance with me. 'Cause there's beauty in the world, so much beauty in the world, almost beauty in the world, so much beauty in the world. Bring your beauty, boys and girls, for the beauty in the world. Pick your diamond, pick your pearl, that is beauty in the world. All together now. Woo! Yeah. What do we need? We need more loving. We need more money. They say change is gonna come like the weather. I said forever. They say, well, baby, in between, notice blue skies and notice the butterflies for us. Stop and smell the flowers and lose the sweet view and dance with me. 'Cause there's beauty in the world, so much beauty in the world. There is beauty in the world, so much beauty in the world. See that beauty, boys and girls, with the beauty in the world. Pick your flower, pick your pearl. There is beauty in the world. There is beauty in the world, so much beauty in the world. There is beauty in the world, so much beauty in the world. Pick your flower, girls and boys. There is music in the world. Pick your diamonds, pick your pearl. There is beauty in the world. Hey, throw your hands up in the air and holler. Hey, throw your hands up there and holler. I said, hey, throw your hands up there and holler. I said, hey, throw your hands up there and holler. 'Cause there's beauty in the world, so much beauty in the world. There is beauty in the world, so much beauty in the world. Pick your flowers, boys and girls, 'cause there's beauty in the world. Pick your diamond, pick your pearl, 'cause there's beauty in the world.
Kat, I think you have a calling for spiritual jazzercise. What do you think? There is so much beauty in this world. I'm so excited to be able to share something today. Our spiritual community received an award back in June. We had our annual Unity Convention where all Unity churches come together for an annual convention. It was virtual this year. But we were recognized for the 5th year in a row for something that is outstanding. And so I'd like to invite our sustainability team members to come forward. I know Judy McCowan, Jerry Conley are here, Lisa Brueggemann. I'm not sure how many of you are here, but come on up stand up front, if you will. Those of you, each and every one of you. Yes. There are a few of our sustainability team members, and you know, Unity as a spiritual community, it's a movement. We are not a church in the traditional sense, but a spiritual movement that's guided by a vision of sacredness and the interconnectedness to all of life. And so we realize that it's through awakened consciousness and conscious living that we bring about our spiritual potential. A big part of what we do is to also recognize the sacredness in all of life, and that includes the earth. This team, the Earth Care team, help us with a covenant, with our practices, with our purchases, with all things. They were very instrumental a couple of years ago when we were planning the expansion of our church, because they made sure that we had a new roof that is energy efficient. I'm happy to tell you that our average light bill has gone down by about $200 a month. A high energy heating and air conditioning unit, high energy efficient external lighting, the paint. This team also has inspired other teams, such as Adopt a Highway, where members of our community put on bright yellow vests and go out for about a mile stretch and pick up the trash on that area. They inspire us to inspire others, to educate ourselves and to take action. And so on behalf of Unity Worldwide Ministries, Unity of the Blue Ridge has been recognized for the 5th year in a row. And it says, Unity of the Blue Ridge, you are recognized as a unity congregation that actively fosters awareness of our spiritual oneness with the earth and that promotes active care of creation for the environment. I'm going to let you open that and show everyone. And so we have a beautiful 5th year, and if you'll just turn that around and let everybody see it, a beautiful certificate that we'll have framed and hanging up in our hallway soon. So I want to, first of all, acknowledge this team. Thank you so much. Yeah. And then to look around and give yourself a hand, because it can't stop right here. It translates through each and every one of us to, say it with me, reduce, reuse, recycle, because God has entrusted us with this beautiful blue-green ball upon which we live. Thank you again. Thanks to each and every one of you. Yeah. You may be seated, team. Thank you. You are in for a treat today. Over the next few weeks, you're going to experience some guest speakers that have been intentionally lined up to really complement what we've been working on. And today, you have the joy of experiencing Meagen Gosiewski. Meagen is one of our members. She is a former member of our prayer chaplain program. And she's just a delightful individual. You can go to her website, Soul Stretching, and find out a little bit more about her. But she's a mom, a wife, a writer, a teacher, a licensed psychotherapist. She's been a college professor. But I know Meagen as a deep spiritual seeker and finder with an incredible prayer consciousness. She started on the path to ministry many years ago, and then a husband and 2 sons came along. And now it's time. She's completing that. And our church is the church that she's working through her internship. So she's going to be sharing with you in just a few minutes. And to kick off this idea that she's talking about today, prayer, Kat and our band have a beautiful song by Ricky Byers called I Release and I Let Go.
There was a time in my life I thought I'd have to do it all by myself. And I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. And I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggle just to make it through another day. You're trying to make it through got to let go. Let go. Let go. And this is what you have. This is what you have. And this is what you have to do. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. In my heart is wide open. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more trouble, no more strife. In my faith I see the light. I am one with the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God, yeah. I release and let go. I let the Spirit run my life. When my heart is wide open, yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. I am free in the Spirit. So free. Oh, I'm so free. And I'm only here for God. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Kat and our band. They're going to be back in a little bit. But we want to thank them, and I want to welcome, would you join me in welcoming Meagen Gosiewski?
I'm ready to go now. Thank you, Kat. Thank you. Beautiful band for your amazing music this morning, and thank you all for being here. So I started out the day perfectly planned. My clothes were pressed, and I pressed linen. So I pressed out everything. I had everything laid out, my breakfast, everything was perfect and ready to go. I get in the car, and there's traffic on I-26. Did anybody hit that? So I was late. When I was supposed to be here early, I was late. So I thought, as I'm driving down the road, there has never been a better time for affirmative prayer. So I treated the whole way, or prayed the whole way. You'll hear me use those terms interchangeably, but I prayed the whole way down here. Please, I know I'm going to make it. I know I'm going to make it. And that's affirmative prayer. And I did. I was only 2 minutes late, 3 minutes late, something like that. So thank you. Thank you. So my name is Meagen Gosiewski, and I thought before I got into affirmative prayer, I would just talk a little bit about myself so that I could introduce who I am. And my husband was very gracious this morning and kept our two boys at home so that I could just be here and fully present instead of thinking, are they busy? What are they doing? Is he throwing a ball out there? So I am just here, and they are watching me. So hi, family. I love you. So I am Meagen Gosiewski, and I am originally from Nashville. Any Nashville fans here? No? You? Woo, no? Oh. I'm originally from Nashville. All right, thank you. Woo! Yay, Nashville! And I moved to Chicago to go to college, and that's where I met my husband, and we had our two boys. They were both born in Chicago. And you've probably seen us around. We are a pretty conspicuous family. I'll show you a picture in just a moment. But Michael and I, that's my husband, he's been married 14 years. Can I show a picture? 14 years ago, last month. So, yes, and then if I can get the next picture. And this is a picture of my family. That was us, Halloween. So that's Marcus here on the end. He's Batman, and Lego is Ian, and then my husband is a convict. And we didn't get to go anywhere because it was Halloween. It was during COVID. We went to a friend's house and had an outdoor bonfire, but we are a Gosiewski troop, and we pushed through, so we dressed up anyway. So that was a fun night, even though we didn't get to trick or treat. Well, we had candy. We had lots of candy. So I am going to talk today about affirmative prayer, and I will say that before I get into what affirmative prayer is, because you may be saying, well, what is that exactly? And I will definitely explain it, but before I do, I want to talk about what affirmative prayer is not. And that's very important to define it. So remember I said I went to Chicago? That's actually where I found New Thought. About 20 years ago, I came kicking and screaming into this whole idea of New Thought. I was raised fundamentalist, and that was a big transition, moving from fundamentalist Christian to New Thought. And I grew up with my mother and grandmother were primarily the people that raised me, and women were not allowed to pray in church where I grew up. In fact, this would not even be acceptable, me standing here in front of you all talking. So the idea of prayer was extremely foreign to me. And then when I come into this, my minister's like, oh, you're just going to start praying right away. And it took a minute, but I finally got it. And after about 20 years, I think I'm all right, doing all right. But it was definitely a challenge. So I know a lot of you here probably have either similar backgrounds or have struggled with prayer. So when I say affirmative prayer, we're going to change the way hopefully you think about it a little bit. But before I talk about it, I told you I wanted to say what affirmative prayer is not. Has anybody, if you're familiar with New Thought at all, you might be familiar with a minister by the name of Reverend Johnny Coleman. Has anyone heard of her? So she was on fire, y'all. She was amazing. She was from the south side of Chicago. I was very lucky to be able to experience her in this lifetime. She's passed on, but she created a church called Christ Universal Temple, and it was a rockin' and rollin' church, and it was many people went there. In fact, my minister on occasion, Reverend Joette Waters, who I also want to thank you, Reverend Joette, for getting me here. She would sometimes take a break on Sunday just to go see Reverend Johnny Coleman speak. That's how amazing she was. So she says, this is what prayer is not. If you have been begging, you have not been praying. If you have been pleading, you have not been praying. If you have been trying to make a deal with God, you have not been praying. Johnny Coleman, y'all, that's Johnny Coleman. She is amazing. And as I sat there, the first time, I've known that quote for a long time, but the first time I heard that quote, I thought, well, that's all I've ever been doing. I would say like, oh God, please, I need that job. Please, please, you know what? I'll put more money in the offering plate on Sunday. If you just give me that job, or I'll join a gym because I'll have more money, right? No. We are not supposed to do that. So let's talk about what affirmative prayer is. And as you all know, Unity was founded on originally back in the late 1800s, or for those of you who don't know, it was the Fillmores, and Myrtle Fillmore was the matriarch of the Unity movement. And I do like that, by the way. I like how Reverend Darlene said movement. But she was the matriarch of the movement, and she talked about prayer and creating prayer and what prayer should be. But she got her source directly from the Bible. And Jesus specifically, the master teacher himself, specifically said in Mark 11:24, "So I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." Believe you have received it, and it will be yours. He's not saying, please, 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 right? There's no begging, there's no pleading, there's no deal making. It is believing it. It is speaking your words and believing they are true. We all know the faith of a mustard seed, right? If you have the faith and the trust of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. It's the same concept. And Myrtle Fillmore also said, and I love this quote as well, sometimes we pray to a God outside of ourselves, but it is the God in the midst of us that heals us. It is this God inside of us. So while that God is extremely important, and we talked about the three faces last week, right? The big God, the personal God, and the God within, it is about going inside and connecting in that prayer, in that silent space. So there are really, if you think about it, New Thought is about this idea of speaking your truth, speaking prayer as if it is happening right now. And there's kind of there are three components to it that I think are very important that I mention, and then I'm going to tell a couple of stories. So first, I want to say, as we've talked about with prayer, we have the idea of speaking, right? You're speaking your truth. Then we have the idea of belief. So we're believing what we say. And the last piece is emotion. And sometimes we forget about that. We get so wrapped up into, what am I saying? Am I saying it right? It's really the emotion that you're putting into it. So let me give you an example. My husband and I, obviously, our boys are adopted. Like I said, we're a conspicuous family. We kind of stick out in the crowd. And my youngest son, by the way, Marcus, I see you. You better be sitting on that couch being good right now. He was voted to be future president of the United States of America in his 4th grade class. So he loves the conspicuousness. He's all about it. But my husband and I, when we decided that adoption was the path we were going to choose to be parents, we were kind of figuring out, okay, well, what does this mean, and how is this going to work, and where are we going to go? And oh my goodness, it was so overwhelming and daunting. And if you know anything about adoption, there's so much that goes with it. They do FBI background checks. They are checking everything about you, your social media. You have to meet all kinds of parents, potentially birth parents, and there's a lot going on. It's very nerve-wracking, and I just knew I needed someone to kind of hold my hand through the whole process. So we go to this adoption agency in Chicago, and it is a massive event. There are probably about this many people at this event. And there were some parents that were sitting on stage talking about their experience of being adoptive parents. And they were, it was beautiful, it was moving. We were all having this really great experience. But I remember sitting in the crowd and thinking, I'm just one person here in this whole sea of people looking to adopt a child. And I have a lot of questions, and I have a lot of trepidation. And I just want somebody to be there for me. So Michael and I decided that was not the place for us. So we were going to go home and do a prayer. And we specifically visualized in my head, what I thought was, I want somebody to make me feel like my grandmama made me feel when I would get really nervous, kind of like I am right now. She would come and sit me down in the living room, and she'd hold my hand, and she'd say, "It's okay, honey. It's okay. I gotcha." And that's what I wanted in an adoption agency. Maybe a cookie and a warm glass of milk, So we let it go, and Michael goes to work about 2 days later, and he had just started a new job working at a bank, and there was a gentleman that was 2 doors down, and they were just talking, introducing themselves, and the gentleman said, "Oh, and by the way, I recently adopted my child." And Michael said, "Oh, what agency did you go to?" And he said the agency name, and Michael said, "Oh, well, maybe we'll check it out." So we made an appointment, and we went to this agency, And I kid you not, it was like walking into your grandmother's living room. There was these couches and chairs and these two women. It was two women. They were in their mid to late 60s, and they come from the back, and she said, sit down, what do you need? Let me help you. And she grabbed my hand. You cannot make this story up. This is what prayer does, right? It's like you're watching this from a movie, and you're thinking, I prayed about my grandmother, and I've got these two grandmotherly figures coming and sitting beside me, and they held my hand, and they helped us, and they pushed us through, and it was an amazing experience. And I was so grateful for that, because that's what I needed. And that was my prayer. And so I had the emotion, I could visually see it, I could feel it, I could taste that experience. And that prayer has to be this rich experience that you have. It shouldn't just be you saying words and not having any emotion or feeling behind it. You should be it. And then as you be it, it will manifest in your life. So that's one way of prayer. And that really, if you know anything about religious science, this is where I came from originally, now the Center for Spiritual Living, they have a five-step treatment that they call, or prayer treatment, as they say sometimes. They use interchangeable. And we're going to talk about that in the class on Wednesday, or Tuesday and Wednesday, online Tuesday, in-person Wednesday. So we will talk about the five-step treatment, and we're going to do a deep dive into that. But that's really Ernest Holmes and his idea of prayer. And then you have this other person, Joel Goldsmith. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Joel Goldsmith. Amazing New Thought writer. He said, don't talk about specifics. You sit and you listen. You put your intention out there, but you're not specifically saying, I need my grandmother, I need a couch, I need all these things, right? You were supposed to be open and trust that God, the universe, the divine spirit, whatever you want to call it, will bring it to you. So as Michael and I were moving through the process, we had been told it would be 2 years to adopt. And that felt like a really long time. So we thought, we're going to see if we can put a little prayer out there and see if we can push that along. Because 2 years to wait and potentially go through the heartbreak of meeting a child and connecting with the child, and then birth mothers change their minds, we knew that could be a very daunting experience. So we had decided hopefully we're not going to wait that long. And as we sat and thought about our prayer for what we wanted to, as we attracted a child, what we wanted, I knew in my mind and heart I did not care the age of that child, the gender, the color. I didn't care. I wanted a child to love. That was me. That was both of us. Michael and I both wanted that. We wanted a child that we could love. So the only thing that I had kind of in my intention was I wanted a child who is healthy in mind, body, and spirit. That's it. I trust you. I sat with it. I knew that the universe had my back. So we let it go. 6 months to the day that we walked into the adoption agency for the first time, we got a phone call that Ian was ready to come home. Can I have the next picture? I know. Don't you want to eat those cheeks? They're just beautiful. Yeah. Now he's 12. I laid my eyes on that child and I knew he was my soulmate. He was just amazing. He still is amazing. And then as we're moving through, we realized, okay, we want a second child. We had Ian for a couple of years and we had decided to start looking again and what that meant. And we were looking and exploring Haiti. And that was an interesting experience when I talked about connecting with a child and thinking it might be that might be your future child. We had that experience and then it didn't work out. We hadn't been married 10 years and there was some other stuff going on with it and they wanted us to pay extra money and it just was not for us. And so I really had a hard time with that, but I knew I had to release and let go and know that something would come along. And then about a month later, we get a phone call that Ian's biological brother is ready for adoption. Can I show the next picture? So that's Marcus, future president. You saw it here first. So we're moving and grooving. We decide Chicago, maybe not the best place to raise a family, so we decided to relocate. I'm originally from down south, so trials and tribulations and all these things, we ended up here in Asheville, which is where we were supposed to be. Yes, thank you. And about right after, actually, we moved to Asheville, we had started noticing there was some delays with Ian. We couldn't quite put our finger on it, but we knew that there had been some neglect when he was a child, so we just attributed all of this to him having a rough start for the first several months of his life. So we get him all the kind of therapy we can get: developmental therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, physical therapy, all these different therapies. I was in therapy, Michael's in therapy, everybody get therapy. So that's just, we were gonna give him the best foundation we could, but the therapist kept saying there's something more than just this delay, there's something more. So we finally take him to a psychologist and he gets the diagnosis of autism. And then a year later, he gets the diagnosis of 48XXYY, which is a very rare genetic disorder that only affects about 1 in roughly 50,000 males. And all I could think was, I prayed for a child who was healthy in mind, body, and spirit. What did I do wrong? But I didn't do anything wrong, because remember, I trusted. So I had to get that out of my head, and I had to be still, because prayer is about speaking, but it's also about listening. So I listened and I went within. I got all those thoughts out of my head of what shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? I just, as one of the great therapists said, never should all over yourself. You should never should all over yourself. And so I just let it all go. And I got to the very still place, and I heard a very loud voice tell me, how dare you say that child is not healthy in mind, body, and spirit. Your goal is to see him as not broken, but whole. Kind of like a little smack in the face. But it was exactly what I needed, because my child is not broken. He is whole. He has different gifts, and it's okay. And remember, I said I wanted to trust the universe, and that's what you do in prayer. You put it out there, and you don't know quite what you're going to get sometimes. You know it's going to happen, but it may not look the way that you thought it was going to look, and that is the trust that we must have in the divine. We must trust. So, as I'm moving through the experience, I know that I'm trusting. I'm trusting. Ricky Byers-Beckwith, do you remember Our Love is Power? Thank you. Do you remember Our Love is Power? Were any of those you here back in 2017? Right? And Ricky Byers-Beckwith blew me away. She was fantastic. And she said in one of her, I can't remember if it was there or here, but she said sometimes when you get to the point where you just don't know what to say, you're extremely overwhelmed. I'll never forget it. She said, sometimes I just say, God, you know. And that's okay. That's a perfect prayer. That's the trust. And if I had not had the children I have now, I would not know what it means to live a life with disability in this country. I would not know what it means to be a black male growing up in this country. And they say, you know, the idea of being woke, I'm trying, but I am getting to experience it through my children, and it is the most amazing, beautiful experience I could have, because now I get to see something very different outside of myself. And life can be still amazing and beautiful no matter what. We just have to trust. So I will end my talk with a quote from Ernest Holmes, because he's my boy. Ernest Holmes, again, is the founder of religious science, and he talks a lot about treatment. And yeah, I have had some experiences with Ernest Holmes and the 5 steps. So if you want to know more, come this week. And if you can't, definitely check him out online and look up the 5-step treatment. But treatment, or prayer, as he says, removes doubt and fear and lets in the realization of the ever-presence of God. It is the alignment of our individual thought with the perfect right action of God. We treat for 2 reasons, and this is the best part. Ready? To make a positive change and to stay in oneness with God. Thank you, Ernie. Yeah. So if I could have Kat come back up and Richard, I think. So if you are ready to start using affirmative prayer, there's no right, there's no wrong. Just do it. Just believe it. Just put your emotion behind it.
When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper. My heart go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper. My heart go deeper into my God. Right here, oh, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, oh, right now, right where I am, I pray.
Divine wisdom, divine guidance, divine love. Direct me in my prayer. Direct me in the vision that I have to be at oneness with you, to make things right, to make things whole, to live in harmony with divine purpose. Allow my prayer to make this world just a bit better. Allow more love to flourish. Allow more community to be built and healing to take place. With all of our prayer, we can do great things. And it all starts with belief in our words.
Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, oh, right now, right where I am, I pray.
Wow. Yeah. You may have a little more to complete before they give you that piece of paper, but you are one of the most beautiful ministers I have ever encountered.
Wasn't supposed to cry.
Would you rub your hands together? In unity, we often reflect back a saying that says, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divinity in you. To Meagen, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divinity in you. Now turn to the camera. This is for Michael, Ian, and Marcus. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divinity in you. I want to thank you so much, Meagen. That was absolutely powerful. Thank you. As she mentioned, she's going to be offering a class going deeper into the practicality of that. We're offering it 2 times, once on Zoom, so you can join virtually, and we always want to include our expanding virtual community, and then it will be at church, which night? Wednesday night, right here at church. So I hope you'll come out and experience that with her. Would you show her your love and appreciation one more time, Meagen? Thank you so much. We also want to thank you for being here. We thank you for joining online. We want to thank you for your ongoing commitment. Your financial gifts are allowing us to keep this going. So we want to thank you for that. And as we wrap up, I'm going to do something unusual. I'm going to sneak out and join one of our virtual communities online. And Reverend Kirsty is going to close us out in just a second. But Kat's got one more song for you, and it just wouldn't be right if it wasn't one more prayer song. So here you go. Thank you.
Pray for me when my heart is sinking fast, holding on is what I thought would last. Oh, lift me up when you can't let go, wrapped in love when you pray for me. Pray for me when your things are upside down and all seems lost, with no light to be found. Oh, lift me up and I will find a greater peace if you pray for me. Pray for me, and I will make it through from this place. I can see what's true. There is a blessing in every breath, and love that's real beyond the veil of death. Pray for me. Pray for me. I'll pray for you if you pray for me. Oh, pray for me, and I will make it through. And from this place, I can see what's true. There is a blessing in every breath, and a love that's real
and you just so beautifully and exquisitely, one of my favorite quotes was the Myrtle Fillmore quote of, "It is God in the midst that heals us," and you have a beautiful way of stirring that divinity in each of us, so thank you for your gift today. And thank you, Kat, and our band. Thank you. Thank you, Virtual Land. My name is Reverend Christy Corner. I'm the Associate Minister here, just in case nobody knew that. So thank you for those that have joined us in live stream. Thank you for joining us here today. Thank you for your ongoing support of this amazing community that just totally has each other in sacred, holy beauty and love. So thank you for that, your support. Many people are donating online. If you're here today and you care to share a gift with us, there are blue boxes throughout our lobby that you can just drop that in. We also are beginning to open our welcome center. If you want, it's the front part of our old bookstore. So if you'd like to meander through there, there's some information. There's a brochure on sacred service, how you might want to serve this community and share your gifts with us, and information about our community, and lots of items for you to look through and give a love donation there. So welcome, thank you, and Kat is going to close us and our band with some song. So thank you.
All they talk about is what's going down, what's been messing up for us. When I look around, I see blue skies, I see butterflies for us. But to bring the world into beauty, just for you, see, and us. Why? In the world, there is beauty in the world, always beauty in the world. Bring your beauty, boys and girls, 'cause there's beauty in the world. Pick your diamond, pick your pearl, 'cause there's beauty in the world. We need more loving, we need no money. They say change is gonna come. Stop and smell the flowers and lose the sweet sound. Music going down, dance with us. 'Cause there's beauty in the world, so much beauty in the world. Pick your flowers, boys and girls, 'cause there's beauty in the world, so much beauty in the world. There is beauty in the world. Pick your flower, pick your pearl. There is beauty in the world. There is beauty in the world. There's beauty in the world. We hope you had a good service this Sunday. I think we did. You could just head on out the door. Head on out the door. Go home. Go home. And remember that there is beauty in the world. There is